Lone Depot Park. Game time temperature 72 degrees, comfortable. Roof and walls shut here at the ballpark today. Underway on time at 12:10. Last of 4 between the Marlins and the Cincinnati Reds. FPL brings us the Cincinnati Reds starting lineup here today. TJ Friedl leading things off. He collected his first 3+ hit game last night since last April. Couple of pitches and 1 out for Max Meyer. Here's another look at that Red starting lineup. Here comes Matt McLain, followed by Elly De La Cruz. Cincinnati is 8-4, and it's better than being dead last in the National League Central. They are currently tied atop the division with Milwaukee for first place.
I think a lot of people surprised at the start that the Reds have gotten off to.
Matt McLain blisters one out to center field. 1 out base hit for McLain, who takes a big old turnaround first. 1 out single for Cincinnati. They piled up 4 runs on 9 hits last night. Max Meyer gets the starting assignment for the Marlins today. Hut making his 3rd start of the season through 2 starts, no wins or losses, and a .466 earned run average.
Yeah, last time out in New York, 4 2/3. He got hurt by that Bellinger home run. He would have liked to have gotten 5 in, but hopefully he can do that today if he certainly kind of recalls what he did against the Reds last year.
Yeah,
talk about that.
He cruised through 4 innings on Saturday in the Bronx. Worked around a leadoff walk in the first, a 2-out single in the second, an error and a walk to kick off the 3rd, and he cruised in the 4th. But then things started to unravel in the 5th, which was a little bit disturbing for Meyer afterwards when he was discussing his outing, thinking, "Man, I should have put myself in line for a victory here. The boys really helped me out." 1 out single by McLain. Here is Elly De La Cruz.
A reference that game he had last year right here against Cincinnati. 6 innings, 5 hits, no runs, no walks, and 14 strikeouts.
Making his 3rd career start against Cincinnati today. De La Cruz waits on a 1-1, and that is stung out into right field for a base hit. 1st and 2nd with 1 out here in the 1st for Terry Francona. Cincinnati Reds. Let's flash back to that outing that Tommy just referenced from last season.
Yeah, and that is, I'm sure, what Max is trying to channel right now. All those strikeouts, the slider. It's one of the things, you look at his repertoire this year, he's thrown more sliders than 4-seamers, and he's really mixed in his sweeper well this year. For some good pitches.
He needs to channel some of that swing and miss with a couple of guys on and 1 out here in the 1st. Here's Sal Stewart, who the Marlins cannot wait to see leave town. He's 4 for 11 in this series with a homer, a double, and 4 runs batted in. He's reached in 11 of 12 games he's played this season for the Reds. But he swings and misses at a nasty slider. He's quickly behind 0-2.
Yeah, safe to say that home cooking has done Sal Stewart well.
Stewart leading the Reds in batting average, homers, runs batted in, tied with De La Cruz with 3 stolen bases. Cincinnati's #1 prospect, batting with 1st and 2nd and 1 out here in the 1st. Max with an 0-2. That's grounded softly towards 3rd and foul. Let's go back to those 14 strikeouts. StatCast 3D powered by Google Cloud. Here's a really cool look at those 14 strikeouts from last season.
I think one of the most interesting aspect of it, they all came on sliders, 11 of them, and 3 on changeups. So he used the fastball, but he put them away with the slider or the changeup.
And the theme there, everything is low. He's not leaving anything up in that outing. Another 0-2 to Sal Stewart coming. Swing and a miss. On cue, on command, first strikeout for Meyer, his 12th strikeout of the season. Let's go back to that last pitch, a slider.
Watch how the action on this pitch. A lot of sliders, and some will move away, some will move directly down. That one just disappeared, and Stewart couldn't get to it.
Pair of 1-out singles, a strikeout by Meyer of Stewart. Here is Eugenio Suarez. Playing in his 13th game since rejoining Cincinnati this offseason. He's hitting 8 of 12. playing in his 59th career game this afternoon against the Marlins. A .272 lifetime hitter with 9 homers and 21 runs batted in. There's a foul ball as we take a look at the defense.
Let's see how it sets up behind Max Meyer for the Marlins in the outfield. You see Griffin Conine. How about Javier Sanoja? It's always hard to find him. Owen Casey in right. Otto and X up the middle. Liam and Graham Pauley at the corners. Augustine Ramirez behind the plate.
Marlins playing their 13th game of the season today. Javier Sanoja is making his first start in center field, where he appeared 10 times in a starting capacity last season. And what do you know, in game 13, it's already the 5th different position that Javi's played this season.
Yeah, left field, second base, shortstop, and today center field. So valuable.
And we haven't seen him on the mound yet, which is exactly the way we like it.
You don't want to see him on the mound. But he'll go there if you need him.
There's a reason he was the Utility Man Gold Glove Award winner in 2025. 3-1 the count, and the pitch from Meyer misses low and away, ball 4, and the Reds have him loaded here in the first for Nathaniel Lowe.
We've seen Nathaniel Lowe a couple of times as a pinch hitter in this series. First time starting. He's the DH today.
3 for 11 on the season is Lowe. A .224 lifetime hitter in 19 career games against Miami. First offering, that fastball's a called strike. Home plate umpire today, Sean Barber. DJ Rayburn is at third. James Hoy, the crew chief, is at second. John Lipka's at first. Cloudy and nasty outside. Perfect early afternoon for a ball game inside as Lowe grounds it softly to second. And Max Meyer gets out of trouble here in the first. Reds leave him loaded.
How were you in science, Kyle, in school?
Awful. I cheated as much as I could. To be honest, it was bad. Here's the WHG Miami Marlins starting lineup. Jacob Marcy will lead us off here today. Marlins collected their 5th come-from-behind win of the season already last night, which is tied for first in Major League Baseball. Now 6-3 at home, 1-2 away from Lone Depot Park, and a half game back of the Atlanta Braves in the National League East. Jacob Marcy leading things off for the Marlins here today, and it's 2 balls and no strikes.
And 2 good takes against the right-hander, Rhett Lauder. 2 pitches very close. He's off to a good start this year.
He's got a little of that Grant Holmes look in him of Atlanta with the long curly hair and the mustache.
You know, and as a pitcher, he's not an overpowering guy. He spots his fastball real well. He'll use a slider, 4-seamer, sinkers, a few changeups.
24-year-old right-hander facing the Miami Marlins for the first time in his career. This is belted to center field. This is really deep. Dane Myers going back. He made the catch.
Dane,
saw
don't
that
do
time
that.
and time again.
Dane, don't do that to a former teammate, but what a great catch.
That is very reminiscent of his catch that ended the ball game for the Marlins and a win against the New York Mets right around this time last year. And that one might have knocked the wind out of him. I have no idea, even seeing it live, how he held on to the baseball.
Look at even Clayton shaking his head. He knows how hard Jacob Marcy's been hitting the ball lately. He's hitting some tough luck. He has been getting some hits. And Dane's certainly familiar with the warning track, with this ballpark. What a great catch to rob a former teammate.
How'd the ball not pop out?
Yeah, and he didn't catch it cleanly in the webbing. Got it kind of in the heel of the glove.
It's as good as it gets. Athletic trainer out to check on Dane.
Yeah, it's funny, too, because I just talked to Terry Francona this morning about Myers in center and Friedel in left. And his feeling right now is that Myers is a better center fielder than T.J. Friedel, who we've seen in center field the first few games of this series. Well, we got a second. We'll take a look at the rest of the defense. You know that Dane Myers is in center. Friedel's in left. Spencer Steers, the right fielder. De La Cruz, he's there all the time. Matt McLean at second. Suarez starting at third. He's been the DH this series. First start at third base. Sal Stewart over at first. And first start as a Cincinnati Red for P.J. Higgins.
Defensively, Cincinnati's been really good this season. They came into the ballgame last night having not committed an error. But that changed when Brady Singer committed the pair, their starting pitcher. It cost them a little bit. I think Tito still gushing over that catch by Dane in center. What a catch. There's Xavier Edwards with nobody on and one out after Marcy was robbed. Edwards batting a team-high .400 to start the season. Snapped an 0 for 7 with a pair of hits last night. Now this is sent out towards the gap in right center, and Dane can't get that one. This is rolling on the track. He's at least got a triple. And he arrives at third, standing up with one away here in the bottom of the first. That would have been criminal if Dane pulled that one in.
Oh yeah, you had to cuff him.
Yeah.
Another great effort, but this time the Marlins get the benefit. That one caught him on the heel too and came out of the glove. And with the speed of Xavier Edwards, he ends up at third base.
I think he had just caught his breath from losing it too when he ran into the wall.
And see, there's a perfect example of this crazy game. When you're going good and you're off to a good start, over .400 now Xavier's batting, the ball trickles out of the glove. When you're struggling to get base hits, as Jacob Marcy is, it's a great catch.
You are 100% correct.
But now you have to try to capitalize with one out and then runner at third base.
There's a 2-0 to Augustine. He waves and misses at a louder breaking ball that time. That was a slider. Ramirez has hit in 3 in a row in 6 of 7. He's got an extra base hit in 3 consecutive games as he waits on a 2-1. And that's grounded towards third. And that's a fair ball. It pops out of the glove of Suarez. Edwards scores, and it's 1-0 Miami. We'll have to get a look, see what happened here.
Well, I think he probably took a peek at the plate, was thinking about going to the plate. He got the high chopper. I don't know if he would have gotten X. See his eyes? He's looking at Xavier, then can't find the handle. And remember, he's DH the first few games of this series. His first start at third.
Kind of lost it on the transfer there, did Suarez. So a 1-0 Marlins lead after the Edwards triple and Ramirez fielder's choice. That should and will go down as an E5. You cannot assume the out at the plate, so Ramirez will at least be credited with a run batted in, his third of the year. By the way, the triple by Edwards, the 5th team triple of the season for Miami. That leads the National League. They've got gap-to-gap power. They've hit 10 homers, hit a pair last night. Here's Liam Hicks.
And this is a good triples ballpark, too.
Yes. There's a called strike on Liam.
I was asking Clayton McCullough about Connor Norby not in the lineup, and he said it's really tough because, yeah, it's a little bit of a rest day, but he really wanted to get Liam in there, get his bat, get him at first base, and have Marcy DH.
It's grounded to first, throw down to second. They get one there. The return throw is dropped by Lauder. That might be another error. Although I guess you cannot assume a double play, but Lauder should have caught that ball.
Yeah. But it's interesting, 2 errors last night from the pitcher and then 1 early today by Suarez at third. Not an easy play for a pitcher. But they had plenty of time. And it looked like it wasn't too bad of a throw. Yeah, it's right there.
To me, that's an error, Hot. If he catches the ball, which he should, the inning is over.
But you never can assume the double play.
That's the problem there.
That's right.
Here is Otto Lopez, who is sitting on 999 career at-bats. So depending on how this one shakes out, it could be number 1,000. Nothing in one on Otto. He's hitting 4 in a row and 9 of 11 to open up the season. He's off to a really nice start. And he had played in every single game and started in every single game, with the exception of last night. Clayton got him off his feet for a game.
Yeah, he's got 5 multi-hit games already this year. See what the scouting report tells us about Rhett Lauder, 24-year-old. Great flow. Yeah, he's got the good flow. First time facing the Marlins. 25, he dealt with an oblique injury.
I made the Grant Holmes reference. Well, he is oftentimes associated with Kenny Powers. These two have a very similar look.
Out of Wake Forest.
Powerhouse college baseball program. Well, I think they might be a little down this season. Well, 5 Marlins had multi-hit efforts last night. One spins Otto out of the way. Marlins down the Reds in Game 3, 7-4 last night. After trailing 2-0 after a half inning of play, they came back with 6 unanswered, with 2 in the first, 2 in the second, 2 in the third. Michael Peterson collected his first major league save in his 3rd try. 3-2, runner goes. Lopez hits it in the air to right field, sending Steer back onto the warning track, and he makes the catch. 1 run, and it's 1-0 Miami. First, a triple for Xavier Edwards, a run-scoring fielder's choice and RBI for Augustine Ramirez. Max Meyer has a 1-0 lead as he kicks and fires to Spencer Steer, and that misses for ball 1 on Steer.
Tell you what, for the first inning, for both sides, a lot of activity. Base runners for the Reds. Marlins had base runners and scored.
Yeah, a little too much. They're not really letting us settle in here today, Hut. And Augustine would like to challenge this call. Ramirez has won the 2nd most challenges in Major League Baseball with 9. Ryan Jeffers and Logan O'Hoppe have both succeeded 10 times. ABS is powered by T-Mobile. A risky 2nd inning challenge does not pay off for Ramirez, who's been very good, and now the Marlins are down to just 1.
Yeah, you almost have to trust him because he's been so good.
So 2-0 on Steer, who's just 1 for his last 11 at the plate. It was a 94-mile-an-hour fastball from Meyer for a strike on Steer. He was 0 for 7 in this series and 0 for 4 lifetime against Max. He punches the 2-1 into left. Coming on into a slide, making a nice grab is Griffin Conine.
Talked about this the other night. When a hitter has a full swing but gets jammed, your tendency as an outfielder, one little step back and that's all. Good reaction by Griffin to come get it on a ball hit not all that sharply. Good concentration. Just put it away. A little pop-up slide.
Got a really good jump, didn't he?
Yeah.
He's a really good outfielder. Hit his 2nd home run of the season last night. Well, here is the great Dane Myers, who made a spectacular catch to rob Jacob Marcy, leading off the bottom of the 1st. Myers just 3 for 13 over his last 9 games, and that goes back to his walk-off winner against the Red Sox in Cincinnati's 2nd game of the season.
Now, he's been in 9 games, but just his 3rd start today.
He waits on a 1-1 and yanks it sharply to short. That should go down as an error. If it does, that is Otto Lopez's 4th error of the season, Hut.
Yeah, he's playing him to pull. He has to go that way. Picked it, couldn't grip it, and yeah, it should be an error. Yeah, he would have thrown Dane out.
Well, he made 12 errors all of last season, 10 of them at shortstop. That's already his 4th of the year. And the first of the game committed by the Marlins, their 11th error this season already, which is 2nd to last in the National League. That is certainly an area that Clayton McCullough will like to see them improve upon as this season starts to grow a little bit older. Marlins pride themselves on their pitching. If you're going to pitch really well, you need to defend really well. Now there's speed at first.
Generally, Max Myers pretty quick to the plate. Not going to give a base runner a whole lot to take off on.
And Ramirez behind the plate has been so much better this year. He's getting rid of the ball really quick. He's already caught a couple of runners. Nice play by Liam Hicks up against that Reds dugout railing. He's making just his second start of the season at first base.
Yeah, the one thing Liam would like to do next time, maybe get to the railing first. He started to drift and caught it as he got to the railing. If you get to the railing and it goes a little bit the other way, you can push off, but still was able to make the catch. Good job.
Liam Hicks made that catch on P.J. Higgins, who played in 74 games with the Cubs a couple of years ago. So Max Meyer trying to work around the one-out error by Otto Lopez here in the second. Myers is at first. Here's Friedel. Grounded out to second in the first. And this is slugged out to left. Conine started back. Comes in. Meyer works around the error. 1-0 Miami after an inning and a half.
For Brady Singer. And this has been a trend for the Marlins to start the season, as we can see from our Toyota trend. The Marlins are first in average, second in OBP, fourth in slugging, and third in OPS against starting pitching this season. And Clayton, after the game, was very pleased about their approach as a group against Singer. Mentioned that the guys put some really nice swings on some elevated sinkers. He also was very happy by the way that they bounced back after the Reds took a 2-0 lead. But of course, as they continue to tack on throughout the game. So far so good for Marlins hitters against starting pitching.
Yeah, and all that really reflective of this nice offensive start to the season. They're third in the National League in average, 10th in homers, but fifth in doubles, first in triples, second in stolen bases. So they're making it very difficult on everybody they face. But Casey has struck out to begin this second.
Well, as Clayton said before the game, this year compared to last year, they expect to win. They'll find a way to win a game. Last year there were periods of time that it was kind of survival mode.
Clayton McCullough's Miami Marlins dashed the Cincinnati Reds' hopes and dreams of going a perfect 81-0 on the road last night. Reds played game 3 last night, a perfect 5-0 on the year and riding a 5-game winning streak. And the Marlins said, not so fast. We got to get ourselves back into the win column, having lost 4 of our last 5. And a chance today for the Marlins to split this 4-game series and enjoy a happy flight to Detroit. This is cracked to center. Easy play for Dane Myers. Let's get you a quick word from FPL.
At FPL, our teams are working every day because reliability isn't an option, it's a commitment. FPL, working for you every single day.
Nobody on, 2 out, 1-0 Marlins. We're in the bottom of the second inning with Tommy Hutton and Kelly Sacco. I'm Kyle Seeloff. Here's Javier Sanoja batting .357 on the year, but just 1 for 11 at the plate over the last 4 games. He's got a base knock. That's rolling down the line. Sanoja with a big turnaround. First, he'll stay put.
Yeah, it's a thought you really have, especially with 2 out, to try to get yourself in scoring position. But played nicely by Friedel in left field. Isn't it amazing the interaction we've seen in this series with Suarez and Sanoja, guys who were just spectacular for Venezuela this year, and had that moment with the Suarez double and Sanoja scoring.
Here is Graham Pauley, who, when I was driving home last night, and I said if the degree of difficulty scale is a 10, I felt really bad driving home for Graham because every play and every chance he had at third base last night was on the scale an 11. Nothing came easy. He had a tough time over there, but it wasn't a bad night. just every ball that came at him was really, really tough to corral.
Well, I was talking to you in between innings, and there are times during the season that a player, we talk about offensive slumps, that a player can actually go into a defensive slump, but some of that depends on what type of balls are hit to you. You could go a period of time where you're just getting a lot of routine plays. Or you could have the game that Graham had last night, and everything was hit, top spin, tricky hops.
In between hops. Paulie 4 for 21 at the plate to start his season. 1 for his last 9 over his last 4 games. Changeup misses, low and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Paulie with Sanoha at first here in the second. What's she eat? She got a good seat. She must be working hard. Must have a good paying job.
Got some snacks.
Yeah. Swing and a miss. Good slider. Inning over. Nothing but the 2-out single from Sanoha. And the play for the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp tomorrow. He'll be off on Saturday. He will play again on Sunday. Expecting the rehab to be right around a week long, but that is give or take. There is no timetable for his return to the major leagues. Remember, he only played in a handful of games this spring. So Stowers, in essence, really does need to go through a spring training progression. But we have seen him here at the ballpark in recent days doing some agility work, doing some baseball activity. That is really encouraging news, huh?
Yeah, and I think a lot of those reps are going to be seen at first base for Kyle Stowers.
Matt McLain leads off the third. He singled back in the first. That's popped foul. While Chris Paddock was throwing his pitch design session yesterday, this was Kyle Stowers getting some hacks in. Those two chatting afterwards. Kyle letting Chris know what he saw. It'll be nice to get Stowers back. What do you think? 30, 40 at bats? They don't necessarily all need to be in game action, but he's got to go through that spring training.
Yeah, he does, because his spring training time was so limited. We also know how you can't really look at spring training numbers, and the reason I'm saying that is because Matt McLain hit .509 this spring.
Yeah. And Meyer punches out McLain on a slider. 1 up and 1 down for Max here in the third.
So you come out of spring training, 500 batting average, and comes into this game hitting about 220.
That's the business. It's a tough game. Here is Ellie De La Cruz. You know, we were talking about that long streak that he's got going of consecutive games played, trailing only Matt Olson and Pete Alonso. You want to know what makes that streak even more remarkable for De La Cruz?
Part of it, the position he plays.
Yes, in the final 60 games last season, he played with a partially torn quad. That sounds rotten. A partially torn quad, never came out of the lineup, kept playing.
Yeah, and I think that affected him the second half of the season. I mean, overall, he still hit 22 home runs, had 86 RBIs. 37 stolen bases, but remember, he had 67 one year. Well, so it affected that part of his game.
And here's what's interesting too, Hut. If you go look at his career first half, second half splits, his second half has always dropped off precipitously. And there's been some school of thought like, hey, you know, you don't need to be the Iron Man here, but if we get him off his feet a little bit and really keep him healthy, is he going to be a better player if he doesn't play 162 games a year? He just got his front doors blown in by a Max Meyer heater, who's punched out 2 in a row.
Looks like Max settling in nicely. Look at this two-seamer, get a little movement back, freezes De La Cruz. My thought on that, De La Cruz, the point you were trying to make is, okay, but is the guy that I'm going to play and start in a game instead of De La Cruz going to be better than De La Cruz at 80%?
It's a good question.
then you have to have that relationship with the manager and talk to him about it.
It's a decision that Terry Francona and the front office have to figure out.
And I know there are studies nowadays on load management, day game after night game, X amount of games in a row. Some guys are just built different, though. Ask Matt Olson about load management.
Sal Stewart seems to be built a little differently. He's carrying the Cincinnati Reds offense to this point this season. There are 38 runs scored, the fewest in the major leagues. Stewart has 8 runs batted in. He's batting .366. The rest of the team coming into this game today in 400 plate appearances is batting a collective .191. He's got a third of the team's homers and a third of the team's runs batted in, as he waits on a 1-2 and knocks it foul.
And according to Terry Francona, it sounds like he has about a third of their confidence, too. He does not lack in that. We've seen the way he swings the bat.
I've always thought that in Major League Baseball, of any of the other professional Power 4 sports, you almost sometimes need an irrational sense of confidence because you fail so miserably so often. You know, it's crazy. It really is. You know, hey, you get 3 hits here over your next 10 at bats. This is going to be really good, and you can punch out the other 7. You got to convince yourself you're really good. Clayton's boys have gotten off to a really nice start.
Clayton talked about the tough pitching they've seen. The Reds have featured some really good pitching.
Stewart just spit on that slider.
Yeah, remember it was 0-2 at one point, and now he's gotten it to 3-2.
And that ball was halfway to the plate. He's already shaking his head. He knew it was a pitch he did not like. Suarez on deck, hoping he gets a chance here in the third. Myers punched out 2 in a row. And there's ball 4. He lost him.
That's an example. Yeah, that's an example right there, Kyle. For a young pitcher, in order for Max to get himself going 6-7 innings, you got to put the hitter away when you're ahead 0-2, because all of a sudden that pitch count starts to build a little bit, and he's yet to have a 1-2-3 inning, but he has good stuff. That helps.
The third, Eugenio Suarez helps him out. We're through 2.5. Still 1-0 Fish.
Is expecting how many friends and family?
200?
Around 200.
He just shot a glance towards third. He wanted to see where Suarez was playing. He's playing in. So no bunt in order. And there's ball 1 on a changeup from Rhett Lauder.
First couple of games of the series with the Marlins facing lefties, you and I talked about getting the left-handers in the lineup. Well, last night the lefties were in the lineup, and boy, did they produce. 8 for 22, a .364 average. Marcy had a couple of hits. Edwards, Hicks, Conine all had 2 hits. Conine went deep.
It was very productive. It was a pass the baton type of game. Everybody does their part. Edwards always does his. He's 1 for 1 with a triple and a run scored. Marcy pops a fastball in the air left side. 1 up and 1 down here in the third. MLB news and notes for you on this early Thursday afternoon. Shohei Ohtani extended his on-base streak to 43 games. This ties the longest by Japanese-born player Connor Griffin. 9-year, $140 million deal. Pretty good. He'll be okay. And Jordan Walker hit his 5th home run of the season. That's time for the Major League lead. It's nice to see for a young man, if you're just a fan of the game, who was such a highly touted prospect in recent years and really just couldn't get it going.
And we've seen him every spring with the Cardinals, and every year a great anticipation as to what he could do. And so the youngster Jordan Walker off to a really good start.
He hit .215 with 4 homers all of last season for the Cardinals. He's hitting .295. He's already hit 5 homers. He's got 12 runs batted in. So good for Jordan Walker. Total freak of nature, too. As Edwards lays off a 2-0 sinker. There's ball 3. Marlins.tv is powered by Major League Baseball. 3-0, that's a strike. It's 3-1 on Edwards. Couple of hits last night, had a 12-game hitting streak dating back to last season come to a halt on Monday. But now 3 for 12 in the series after his triple in the first. Scored on the Ramirez fielder's choice. 3-1, Edwards watches a fastball go by a little low, but we've got a challenge coming. This one is from Higgins. Let's see if it's a good challenge. It was a called ball, and that's a strike at the knees. A good, successful challenge by P.J. Higgins. That's the difference in a 1-0 game in a runner at first or a 3-2 count.
That's when you see the ABS challenge really have an impact on a game.
So the count is full on X, who after his first inning triple is now batting .413 on the year. Agustin Ramirez is on deck. Lauder is settling in after his run allowed in the first, although that was an unearned run. Here's a 3-2, and Edwards tops it foul.
You know, there was a game first week of the season, that first time in history, because this is the first year of the ABS challenge, that ended on a challenge. Forget who the hitter was, but it was called ball 4.
Was it in Baltimore maybe?
Yeah, and it was a challenge of a strike. Everybody's waiting around, and then finally challenge, strike 3, game over.
Look who it is. Anthony Rizzo is in the house. Parkland, Florida zone, went to Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High.
What a solid player.
And I think now he's a part of the NBC coverage. He's got his little boy out of the ball game. Time now for today's youth player of the game. Kaylee, 12-year-old, member of the Mermaids of the Marlins Youth Academy. Her favorite player is Griffin Konai. She was happy last night.
Oh, yeah. Happy he's in the lineup today.
She made a nice sliding grab and left already. Here's Agustin Ramirez, and that is pulled foul. So Edwards draws an 8-pitch walk. He has stolen 2 bases already this season. Marlins have stolen 16 stolen bases as a team, which is the second most in the National League. We'll see if Edwards feels like stealing here. I bet he does try to go. And here's why I say that as well, Hunt. P.J. Higgins, who's behind the plate for the Reds this afternoon, has played in 341 minor league games since his last major league appearance in 2022. Might as well put a little pressure on the young man. Test his arm. He's not going. And that could be an inning-ending double play. That'll do it here in the third. 1-0 as we go to the fourth.
And this one scares you a little bit. This is Spot. He is a robot dog. I was chatting with Andy Martinez from FPL. This dog, 7 years old, currently retired, but those robot dogs, they serve an important role for FPL and for all of us, guys. They're used to monitor substations and help detect potential outages, fires, and other safety concerns that may cause or affect the community, guys. And what's important to note is that using a robot to do this job, in the past it was very risky and it was a safety concern for people. So to have a robot now and have the advanced technology to make it possible is really great for our safety. And it's controlled by an iPad similar to a video game. So that was Spot. A lot of the players got to see him. And Kyle, you did not get up close and personal with Spot, I hear?
Nope. And everybody gets a real good chuckle out of these robots.
Yeah, I was down there, and I'm a little concerned that Spot, at 7 years old, is retired. What's he have, arthritis or something?
The newer technology, they're telling you the newer technology with these robots, the things they can do might scare Kyle even further. They can do these backflips and climb walls. It's pretty wild.
And everybody jokes about it, but they're gonna, if you don't make your pact with them now, you're in big trouble. They're gonna wipe you all out.
What kind of litter box does Spot have?
That I don't
good
know.
question.
I'll follow up.
But thank you to FPL for being a big part of today. I'll be on the horn with them on our next off day because my power bill was through the roof this month, and that situation needs to be addressed.
That shouldn't happen.
Nope. Maybe I need to replace my air filter because something's going on. Here's a 3-1 to Nathaniel Lowe, and he waves right through a slider.
That's where Max can be tough. He can throw that slider anytime. And you get a good hitter up there thinking 3-1 might get the fastball, and he dropped a good slider on it.
Payoff pitch hit foul.
I was looking, Max from a nice athletic family. His dad played football at St. Olaf's College small school. Mom was a college soccer player.
And that's outside ball 4. That's a good at bat for Lowe. It's a 7-pitch walk. Leadoff man aboard here in the 4th. Hey, the Milwaukee Brewers are coming to town April 17th through the 19th. Get some hot deals for the whole family all weekend long. Get your tickets at marlins.com/tickets. The Brew Crew are coming. Maybe there will be some nice beer specials for everybody as well. This is the first time today that the leadoff man has reached base for the Reds. Here's Spencer Steer. And he watches a slider for strike 1. 0-1 on Steer, who flew out to Conine, who made a nice sliding grab on him back in the 2nd. Lowe is not much of a threat to run at all at first.
Yeah, and you can certainly tell by the shortness of his lead, which is always kind of a surprise because I remember being taught if you're just an average base runner, get as good a lead as you can to try to make up for maybe a little lack of speed.
That one spins Steer out of the way, and it might not. And to your point, it might not be just because, hey, there's a ball down a line or in a gap you can score, but that could be the difference between going first to third on a single.
Absolutely.
Steer at the plate, Myers on deck. 1-0 Marlins. We're in the 4th. Ground ball. That is going to sneak through the right side. Stopping at second is Lowe, and that's the 3rd hit of the day for Cincinnati. It's a sing-eye single into right field for Spencer Steer, his first hit of the series.
Yeah, a little room over there with X cheated a little bit towards second, and that is the definition right there of a seeing eye base hit.
See what Terry Francona does here. Myers is a guy that can bunt, and Paulie's thinking as much. He's in on the grass at third. I doubt he will, because I'm thinking that through, and with no speed at second, just put the wheel play on.
Right, and also with P.J. Higgins just called up on deck. So see, we're trying to read the mind of a future Hall of Famer, Terry Francona.
Yeah, you bunt and get a force out here, you're going to run yourself out of an inning. So Myers is swinging away, and he shoots that foul. He's behind in the count, 0-2. Dane reached on an error by Otto Lopez with 1 out in the 2nd. It was Otto's 4th error already at shortstop this season. But that did not come back to hurt Max Meyer in the 2nd inning. Reds have already left 5 men on base today. Their offensive woes continue. And they're still 8-4 to start the year as Myers lays off a sweeper, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, that was pitch number 60 for Max. We're in the 4th, but still nobody out. Efficiency-wise, he's doing okay. As he kicks and fires a 1-2, that is shot on a line into right field, sinking fast, but Casey's got it. He's making his 2nd consecutive start in right field today, and there's 1 out.
Yeah, and a nice jump. We talked about the jump Griffin Conine got on a ball he caught early in the game. Same thing for Owen Casey right there. As soon as that ball came off the bat, he was moving to come get it. It wasn't hit that sharply, and he was right there to make a chest-high catch.
So one away, still first and second, and double play is in order. And here is Higgins, who's making his 2026 debut. And again, appearing in the major leagues for the first time in a few seasons.
These are innings, Kyle, that you file away, because for Max, there's been traffic he's had to deal with every inning. He hasn't had nice 1, 2, 3 innings. So have they been totally stressful? Not so much, but he has had to deal with base runners. So you factor that in as the game progresses.
Well, you know he'd love to get Higgins to bounce into an inning-ending twin killing right here, because you've got Friedel on deck, who's coming off his first 3+ hit game since last April. But he's 0 for 2 today. Higgins 0 for 1 as he waits on a 1-1. Bounce foul into the Marlins dugout, and now it's 1-2. Higgins had his contract selected from AAA Louisville last night. He's in his 3rd season with the Reds organization. Re-signed as a minor league free agent back on December 17th. Max comes home with a 1-2, and that's grounded to third. There's one. There's two. No. Hicks couldn't keep his foot on the bag. The throw by Edwards pulled him up the right field line. Marlins will take a look. We'll see if they want to challenge. Should have been a routine inning-ending double play, but the throw from Edwards was not a good one. There will be no challenge, and Friedel will get a shot.
Yeah, we saw X make a couple of really nice pivots last night. That time, Liam tried to stay there. And I think sometimes you can make a decision as a first baseman, come off, get it, go back, touch the bag, but I don't think he had that much time. I don't think they would have gotten the double play.
That is the second ground ball potential double play in this game. Remember, the Reds could not turn one. They should have a couple of innings ago when Rhett Lauder dropped the ball at first. And that should have been a double play, but no. And a changeup is cut on and missed, and it's 0-2 on TJ Friedel.
Boy, that was a pitch that we showed you earlier that Max really had going in that game last year against Cincinnati when he struck out 14. All the strikeouts were either sliders or changeups.
Max Meyer about to throw his 68th pitch. He has punched out 3. Give them 4, and the Reds leave a pair on, and they were on the corners here in the 4th. Still 1-0 Miami. Not a Ferris wheel guy. I don't know about you. Too much can go wrong up there. Not a whole lot has gone wrong for Rhett Lauder today. He's allowed a run. It was unearned on 2 hits. Cincinnati is out hitting Miami 3-2. And they have wasted opportunities time and time again, and Max Meyer continues to wiggle out of trouble.
Well, they really, the Reds really like this 24-year-old. His first 8 starts, but you have to go back to 24. He didn't pitch last year. Then he starts this year's first 8 starts. Got an ERA of 1.30.
Derek Johnson, the pitching coach. The Reds are getting an up close and personal look at some of their future. Because remember, Sal Stewart is still their #1 overall prospect. Lauder is number 3. According to Baseball America, MLB Pipeline, their 5th ranked prospect. But a top 10 prospect, top 5 prospect on the mound. Your #1 prospect in Sal Stewart right there at first. That high leg kick from Liam. And a slider missed inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Hicks leading off the 4th.
Well, and I would say he certainly caught everybody's attention at Wake Forest's junior year. He was 15-0 with a 1.87 ERA.
He was the ACC's male athlete of the year that year, pitcher of the year for the 2nd straight season, scholar of the year, so he's got a good head on his shoulders. You know who else went to Wake Forest? Chase Burns. And And what just transpired here? We have
Maybe
a pitch clock violation.
Violation.
And that results in Hicks getting a free pass to first. I don't remember the last time we saw that.
Been a while. I wanted to put it in perspective, though, looking at a 8 straight start period. And I look back at the second year. Fernando Valenzuela came up in 80 and pitched a little bit. But in 81, he started the year for the Dodgers. And his first 8 starts, Fernando went 8-0 with 8 complete games and an 0.50 ERA.
That's unbelievable. Isn't that crazy?
It's nuts. And that's where Fernando Mania started.
Here is Otto Lopez, who's ahead of the count. 1 ball and no strikes. 0 for 1 today. That is ripped through the left side. Friedl is going to have to chase it into the corner. Liam Hicks will stop at third. That ball was hit so hard, it just was skidding on the turf, and it went all the way to the wall past Friedl and left.
Well, we know that anything over 100 is good. Exit velo 112.8 on this. Just an absolute rocket. Hit so hard by the time Friedl chased it down, it allowed Hicks to go over to third, really setting up this inning perfectly. Runners at second and third, nobody out. Good start of the season. You love to see that too after Otto was given a day off just to kind of relax and regroup.
Here's Owen Casey with men at second and third with nobody out. Marlins leading 1-0 here in the fourth. And this is their first real chance to do some real damage. Here's a 1-0, and Casey swings and he lifts it in the air deep to left field. Friedel's going back. He's onto the warning track, nearing the wall, and he can't make the catch. 1 run will score. Getting the wave around third is Lopez. Here comes a throw. A head first dive, and he's safe. A 2-run double for Owen Casey. It's 3-0 Miami.
Put him on for Big Red. He'll drive him in. Opposite field power, just out of the reach of Friedl. Shows you what kind of pop Owen Casey has. RBIs number 10 and 11 on the year. Love this swing. Pitch just moved away from him. If he rolls over, he doesn't hit it well. Friedl trying to chase it down. Looked like he got there, but couldn't quite make the play. And because of that, because it was close, Otto had to hold a little bit at second base. And because of his speed, just a reach, a little swim move.
How about that dive?
Was
right
able
hand.
to get the outside part of the plate before the tag.
Nice dive by Otto. Some terrific hustle too, because he was standing on the bag at second when that ball hit the warning track.
Yeah, he had to wait because you don't want to get doubled off, especially early in the inning with nobody out at the time.
Well, that must feel some good for Owen Casey, who just collected his 10th and 11th runs of the season batted in. And I say that because after his second inning strikeout, that 2-run double just snapped a 3 for 21 funk for Big Red. It didn't feel like that, though. He hadn't been starting a whole lot due to the surplus of lefties the Marlins had been facing, and he had the homer in New York. That got him out of it a little bit.
Yeah, and a lot of those ABs were pinch hit appearances.
Now here's Griffin Conine. Sinkers hit foul. It's a ball and a strike on Griffin. Conine 0 for 1 today. Casey moments ago a 2-run double. Still nobody out here in the fourth. Marlins opening things up, leading 3-0. Conine lined out to Myers in the second. Now he swings and misses. And it's 1-2.
It's okay on that swing. It looked like he was trying to at least pull the ball to the right side.
It's the 11th time in 13 games now the Marlins have held the lead. However, which is interesting of note there, so the 11th time in 13 games the Marlins have had a lead, but they've also got 5 comeback wins. So they haven't always been able to hold those leads, but they are tied for first in Major League Baseball with 5 come from behind victories. As Conine bounces a 2-2 to first. Nice piece of hitting by Griffin. Casey goes to third, where he is stationed with 1 out for Javier Sanoja.
Well, you have to tell yourself at that time, especially when you get to count to 2 strikes and you're behind, at least try to make contact. And if I can make contact and pull the ball, it's been a productive at bat.
So 3-0 with a runner at third and 1 out in the bottom of the fourth. Terry Francona not willing to give in and just give up another run. I don't know what happens here, but this feels like a surefire run for the Marlins with Javier Sanoja at the plate, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I'm also not sure, we'll see, we'll find out, if it would be going on contact situation with Owen Casey, the runner. Could be. But you got a feeling that Javi will get the ball in play somewhere, hopefully a fly ball deep enough to score Owen from third.
Sanoja snapped a 1-for-11 with a 2-out second inning single. Line drive into right field, 4-0.
Or just sting a line drive the other way to pick up his second hit of the day.
His offensive funks don't last very long. He's 2 for 2 today. That's his 6th run bat at the end of the year.
He is a fun player to watch. A little spinner, didn't do a lot. Right-handed hitter. If he takes that spinner the other way, he's going to have a lot of success.
I just don't know where you pitch him to get him out.
And a lot of times he'll jump on that first pitch fastball if a pitcher tries to sneak that by him.
An automatic ball 4 to Liam Hicks in a pitch clock violation started this whole thing here in the 4th inning. Lopez with a double, Casey with a 2-run double, and a 1-out RBI single by Javier Sanoja.
You know, sometimes you can't quantify what that pitch violation does mentally to a pitcher.
Put the wheels in motion for the Fish here in the 4th. Sanoja with speed at first. Here's Pauly, who waits on a 1-1. Jammed him, but that'll reach the seats and go foul. Lauder ran that fastball up and in on the left-handed hitting Marlins third baseman. Subscriptions for Marlins TV start at $19.99 a month or $99.99 for a full season. You can also get a free trial and watch Owen Casey bash the ball around the yard. Boy, throw to first.
Boy,
that
he
was
really
really close.
I don't know how he got back because he was dancing off and was going to take off. And Lauder came over. Watch this. Those are quick feet.
Well, it's been far past 15 seconds, and the Reds just did now get a challenge in. That felt like it took way too long to issue a challenge. And they're going to take a look. You're supposed to only get 15 seconds. But that felt a lot longer.
Cincinnati is challenging the safe call.
The Reds are challenging this safe call. Hard to see where his fingers are on his right hand, but if they're not back at the bag, we might have an issue here.
Yeah, it might be.
Challenge is brought to you by Werner Hoffman, Greg, and Garcia.
If the tag was up there, again, we always say, is it enough to overturn? It might be.
Okay, it could be.
In this case.
I just felt like it took the Reds way too long to issue that challenge.
That angle, it's hard to tell. See, right there, he's tagged. It's hard to tell if the hand's on the base yet.
Hard to tell from this angle, but they've got many additional angles outside of that one, and they can also sync up multiple angles and splice them together.
They have angles like you have on your TV at home.
Oh, no question. Now, 4-0 Marlins. 3 more here in the 4th.
You know, you talk about a manager that's seen it all. Saw that shot at Terry Francona. His first 4 years as a major league manager were in Philadelphia, and they were not successful. You can kind of say that with a lot of guys. Joe Torre had his time with the Mets, with the Braves, before he found success with the Yankees.
It's hard, right? A verdict from New York is in.
After review, the call in the field stands. The runner is safe. Cincinnati will lose their challenge.
It's one of those I just don't think enough to overturn.
They had a multitude of angles. They looked at all of them, and they just couldn't definitively say that Sanoja's fingertips were not on the bag.
And that's when Javi just can take a deep breath. A little sigh of relief.
After the delay, do you steal right here?
Oh, I think he's thinking about it, yeah.
Let's see if he goes. Big lead. He is not going, and Paulie grounds it softly to the left side. There's one at second. Throw to first. Not in time. And the Reds are without a challenge because they just blew it. And I think that might be exactly what Terry Francona's thinking. Was he out or safe here? Oh, he was out, and it would have been a double play if they didn't lose their challenge. It's a bit of a break for the Marlins, who have already scored 3 runs here in the 4th inning. Now, yeah, he was clearly out. That was one of those weird fielder's choice force outs, by the way, that goes 5-6. Because it was Suarez who picked the ball up at the shortstop position and dished off that shovel past the Ellie De La Cruz at second.
Yeah, because of the way they were positioned.
Here is Marcy, who has flown out and popped out here today. He had his 3rd multi-hit game of the season last night. 0 for 2 here today, and now 4 for 14 in this series, but he is starting to get it going as he waits on a 1-0 from Lauder here in the 4th. And he laid off a slider. It's 2-0 on Jacob. Marlins loading up this starting lineup with their 5 true lefties and their switch hitting Xavier Edwards once again here today. No Slater, Jimenez, Hernandez, or Norby. Marlins did get their closer Pete Fairbanks back today as Marcy swings and misses.
Well, welcome and congratulations.
There was a time when the paternity list wasn't a thing and there was no FaceTime. So when you got to meet your kid, I have no idea. Marcy swings on a 2-1 fastball and drills it high in the air to right, but not deep at all. That'll end the inning, but the Marlins get 3 and they have a 4-0 lead as we go to the 5th. Special ticket package gets you a ticket plus an exclusive Marlins hockey jersey that Connor Norby showed off for us the other day, a Minnesota guy. Make sure you get your tickets at marlins.com/hockey. The Minnesota boy on the mound, Max Meyer, induces a ground out to short off the bat of Matt McLean, leading off the 5th. 1 up and 1 down.
And boy, would he love to have a low pitch inning, a nice 1-2-3 inning here in the 5th.
Probably give him a shot at the 6th.
Yeah, he got a little cushion now.
Just because it's fun to look ahead, Meyer did go 6 innings or more on 6 different occasions last season before his season came to a halt that required season-ending hip surgery. Grounded softly outside of first. Quickly 0-2 on Ellie De La Cruz.
That's always a good number. First pitch strikes. You know, that changeup has really helped him against left-handed batters. Left-handers hit much lower against Max than right-handers.
Why do you think that is?
Changeup's part of it. He does get a lot of left-handers with the slider, but he does that with the right-handers as well.
For 4-0 in the 5th. Marlins trying to split this 4-game series. After losing the first 2, they're trying to win the last 2. That 0-2. This is downstairs. Ball 1 on Ellie De La Cruz, who's batting .245 on the season for Cincinnati. He has scored a run in 8 straight games. That's a problem if it's fair, but it's foul.
Xavier Edwards had that stretch going to begin the season. Remember, he had a 9-game hitting streak, but then in the first 8 of those, he also had a hit and a run or more.
That's what you need every night from Max. 1 hit, 1 run. Go home, get a bite to eat, do it again the next day. Another 1-2 is blocked by Augustine. Meyer not happy with the execution of that slider.
Yeah, and remember earlier he got 0-2 to Stewart and then went to 3-2. So right now it's 2-2.
He has cost himself some pitches in this game, but the pitch count is still manageable.
Still
here
pretty
in the
good.
5th. No runs, 3 hits for Cincinnati. Meyer with a 2-2 and a changeup is flown to center. Sanoja 2 out as we check in with Kelly.
Hey guys, it's time to check in with our Marlins in the minors. It's our Ocean Bank making waves, and the guy who's making waves is Jacob Berry. Yesterday had a really nice day with AAA Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp 3 for 5 with a walk, a run, a stolen base, extended that hit streak to 5 games. It's his 2nd multi-hit game in the last 5 games, guys. Look at his numbers in the month of April, hitting .444 with a home run, a double, 5 RBIs. This is a 6th overall pick back in that 2022 draft. So it's nice to see Jacob Berry having a strong start to the season.
Yes, it is. And I would say that 2026 is a very pivotal season for Jacob because it has been nearly 4 years since he was drafted in the 1st round as one of the top picks in that draft. You know, they're rushing these guys up quicker than ever these days. So you feel like this could be a big year for him.
I think at the time, I remember reading, considered the top college hitter at that time out of LSU.
Yeah. See if he can get up to the show this season as Stewart waits on a 1-1, and that's yanked foul. Sal Stewart pretty quiet today. He did draw a 2-out walk in the 3rd that went for naught. He also punched out swinging. He was Max Meyer's first strikeout victim of the game back in the 1st. 4 2/3, no runs, 3 hits, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts for Meyer, who delivers a 1-2, and Stewart sends this deep in the air to right center. This is a big problem. Sanoja's back at the wall, and it's gone. The man that has provided all the run support for the Reds this season is at it again. That's his 4th homer and 9th RBI. That is some disgusting power.
Yeah, the one thing that's really, out of many things that have impressed us about Sal Stewart, his ability to go the other way. He's got pop everywhere in this ballpark, and this is a big ballpark. So Sal Stewart with number 4 on the year, just pleasing to all of his fans that are here.
Well, I really, really do hope that his friends and family have enjoyed watching him these last 4 days, but this guy's got to go. I believe that's his father. But he's got to leave town. He's got to do it in a hurry because this is becoming a real problem.
Yeah.
He is on his way to becoming not just a real problem just against the Marlins either. This kid's a real weapon. Let's go back to the homer. Opposite field power.
2-seamer, drifted a little bit, but boy, just a nice, beautiful, solid swing. Not trying to pull it. Confident that he has the power to go to all fields.
That would have left this ballpark 2 iterations of the wall ago, because you can see the seams on the Leafs out there in the outfield. Those seams represent how far the walls have been brought in over the years. That was gone in what, 2015?
Yeah, he can take that swing back to Cincinnati. They go back home, open up a series against the Angels.
He's going to belt 40 homers playing all those games at Great American Ballpark. Let's see, they're playing their 13th game. That's his 4th. I bet he's a 30 homer guy this year as a rookie. He might win Rookie of the Year.
He's starting off that way, absolutely.
If he wins Rookie of the Year, then the Reds get that extra draft pick with that prospect promotion incentive deal MLB's got going on.
I kind of like that.
Well, I do too. And it's interesting because Nolan McLean, everybody picked as the surefire favorite to win it. And a lot of Marlins fans, I don't know if they've taken into consideration, well, do you just bring up Joe Mack and Thomas White, or do you hold out so they retain prospect eligibility next season and maybe give you a chance for them to win the National League Rookie of the Year in 27? It's probably a conversation maybe better suited for a little bit down the road, but it is an interesting one that front offices are now thinking about. Now Suarez is being a pest. That was the 6th pitch that he's seen. I'm sure if you were to check the odds right now, Sal Stewart might be the favorite to win the National League Rookie of the Year. I don't know how many teams will hold out guys because of that, but I'm sure they talk about it. Oh, ouch. That's a fair ball. And Suarez is just going to go back to the dugout as Meyer rolls it to first. And the inning is over. So the Reds get a run, and it's what a start for Sandy Alcantara.
Can this bat's head swinging this? This guy's a big game pitcher.
We've got a few games to play before Sunday, but that's going to be the showdown at Comerica Park. Alcantara versus Skubal.
The batter is challenging the call strike.
We have a 5th inning challenge by Xavier Edwards, who's challenged the strike call.
We're going to call that Cy Day on Sunday.
Miami will have 1 remaining challenge.
Sandy has been much better than Tarek Skubal to start the season. Alcantara 2 wins, no losses, and a .74 ERA to Skubal's 1 win, 2 losses, and 2.5 earned run average. That is going to be a fun showdown. There's ball 2 to Edwards, who leads off the bottom of the 5th. He has walked, tripled, and scored a run here today. Sal Stewart just got a run back with his 4th home run of the season in the top half of this inning. Edwards with a ground ball to second. 1 away. Here comes Augustine. Fielder's choice, E5 RBI for Ramirez in the 1st. Bounced into an inning-ending 6-4-3 double play in the 3rd. Three consecutive games with an extra base hit for Augustine. You know, I said Sal Stewart is tormenting the Marlins and they really need him to leave town. The Reds are always a little skittish when they face Augustine Ramirez as well, who coming into this one today as he skies this to center was hitting .382 in 9 career games against Cincinnati. There's 2 out quickly here in the 5th for Lauder.
You know, speaking of hitting, we talked about it last night in the game that the Marlins lead the major leagues in highest batting average against non-fastballs.
Yep.
And what I thought was interesting when I saw a list, their average, and it was coming into this game on non-fastballs, was .288. Second on the list was the Dodgers, but they were at .261. So it was by a lot.
It's a huge discrepancy.
Yeah.
It almost feels intentional in the sense that, hey, everybody throws spin these days. So unless you get a fastball that's on a tee for you, lay off of that and wait for the spin and let's crush that. Liam Hicks is crushing everything that he's seen this season. He's 0 for 1 today, and he lays off a 1-0 changeup, but that's a strike at the knees. It's 1-1.
One thing at watching Lauder, he's not afraid at certain pitches, especially with the changeup, to double up on it, sometimes triple up. That time he went changeup, then 4-seamer.
He's got a little bit of that Spencer Strider power stance on the mound where he straddles the rubber east to west and nearly takes up the whole darn thing.
But he doesn't have the Spencer Strider max effort 98 miles an hour.
No, or the hamstrings, it would appear. He's a little thin in the legs.
And when you talk to a couple of analysts who do Reds baseball, Chris Welch and Jeff Brantley, both pitchers, former pitchers, they talk about how Rauter is a pitcher. You know, he's not going to just go out there and try to overpower you, and we've seen that, the way he works a plate with his stuff.
Which is just really surprising, the way that the game is played these days, and these young guys, the way that they come up, they're just taught, you know, going back to when they're starting college, so much of the offseason programs is how hard can you throw the darn thing. So that's really cool to hear.
Yeah.
There's so much power and velocity in the game. He's just out there pitching. That's going to get over the head of the second baseman McClain, and a 2-out base knock for Hicks.
Second time Liam's been on base today. Walked back in the 4th inning. Keeps that batting average over 300. Not too many mistakes by Lauder, but that time he got that pitch up.
And Liam now, it's just 4 for his last 19 at the plate, but it feels a little different because he continues to get on base. He picked up a pair of hits last night. And his strong start to the season continues, including Otto Lopez's as well, who had a 4th inning double that he hit at 112 miles an hour.
Yeah, and the other thing about Liam is he doesn't strike out much. He's only struck out 3 times.
By the way, Otto's 4th inning double, the hardest hit ball of his career.
Wow.
It killed 1,000 worms on the way to the wall and left. But he smoked that double back in the 4th. It's that pretty hard to third. Flag down by Suarez. And the throw to second is in time. Inning over. Let's go to the 6th, shall we? Still 4-1 Fish.
With center field walls once at Citi Field, and this afternoon I just can't believe the ball didn't pop out the way he caught it today.
I can't believe he's not in concussion protocol. Well, here's an interesting change shot. Max Meyer is lifted after 5 innings. He's in line for a win, and Anthony Bender, who has struggled to start the season, finds himself in a much lower leverage situation, making his 6th appearance, and he's got 1 out here in the 6th as Lowe lines out to Casey and right.
One of the things that we don't, as fans and broadcasters, we don't really factor in how a manager moves certain players in certain times and positions. And I think right now Clayton McCullough has a situation with a 3-run lead. He feels comfortable with Anthony Bender because the Marlins are going to need Anthony Bender as the season progresses, sometimes late in the game. So here's an opportunity, get him on track. Good, he got the first out, that helps, and move on from there.
Spencer Steer watches a called strike. You know, he came on in a very tough spot a couple of nights ago when Sandy was removed from the game. You know, if Sandy had only worked the 8 innings the other night, I would bet by bottom dollar Bender comes in, doesn't give up 2 runs.
And I'll tell you another thing I thought about after the game.
Jammed him in a shallow fly ball to left. Conine dives and he trapped it. He loses his glove. He can't find the ball. He's running all over the place out there. I hope he's okay.
Yeah, I hope the wrist or elbow's okay.
Oh, man, he's kind of grabbing at his left knee a little bit and his left hamstring. Something looked a little off there when he dove. Then he couldn't find the ball when he got up.
Yeah, this ball wasn't hit well. Full swing. It's one of those you really got to come and get. He makes a great effort. Glove comes off. And hard to speculate, but the way he was kind of hobbling, you're thinking maybe knee or hamstring or something like that.
And he is hobbled as soon as he gets up. When he couldn't find the ball, I thought maybe he was a little woozy. He doesn't hit his head or anything, which is good. But watch him go to the left side of his leg. It straightened up in a hurry.
Yeah, and he's grabbing the backside.
Well, he's coming out of this game.
You know, the point I wanted to make on Anthony Bender, coming into that situation, because it was Sandy, and I know these guys are pros and they've done it a bunch of times. Coming into that game because it was Sandy Alcantara and in the situation, I think added a little bit more to him.
I agree with you. I agree. I think everybody felt like collectively they had to hold up their end of the bargain, and it just didn't work out. But back to more important matters now. Heriberto Hernandez is going to take over in left field for Griffin Conine, who was hurt moments ago on that diving attempt, which is rotten to see because Griff has stayed healthy his entire career, but he got hit by the injury bug last year with the subluxation of his left shoulder that required surgery. And now he leaves this game here in the top of the 6th after a valiant effort. And we'll see what tomorrow brings. The Marlins do not have a day off. Hopefully he's not seriously hurt, or else this might necessitate a move to Jacksonville.
Yeah, I know Clayton's talked about the stretch, the 13 games in a row right now that the Marlins are in.
I thought that was a little unusual too, after just one off day to start the season after the homestand in New York.
Yeah, it usually doesn't happen early in the year that way.
And by the way, the base hit for Steer amounts to a double. So he's at second. Here is Dane Myers, and a sinker misses low ball one from Bender. If you'd like to close the books on Max Meyer, you're free to do so. He's in line for his first win of the season after going 5 innings and allowing 1 run, which was earned on 4 hits with 3 walks and 4 strikeouts. And that sails into center. That's going to be the second error committed by the Marlins today, their 12th of the season. Tried to backpick him, and it results in an unnecessary deal there.
Well, we saw this last night from Brady Singer. Hate to see that happen. That just moves the runner to third with less than 2 out.
I also don't suspect down 3 that Steer would have been going anywhere, so I'm not sure why they're trying to pick him off. Just gives Dane Myers a potential freebie opportunity.
You know, speaking of the bullpen, I asked Clayton today about how good was it to see Michael Peterson come on for the save, his first major league save last night. And he said it was great because now it adds another element to his bullpen.
Marlins willing to concede a run, but that's popped softly in the air behind second. Not deep at all, and Steer will have to stay at third. And Bender's trying to work around his own 1-out error here in the 6th.
Oh, that was just a good pitch. He really ran that pitch in on Dane Myers, and that was all he could do with it.
Don't miss a moment of Marlins baseball on Marlins TV, powered by Major League Baseball. Catch Marlins games on Marlins TV. You can start your free 7-day trial today. You can watch Sandy and Scooble on Sunday for free. Not many things in life are free anymore. But if you click the button, you can watch baseball for free. But only for 7 days. Here is P.J. Higgins, the number 9 hitter, who's 0 for 2. And he's behind in the count, 0-2.
This would be a good boost for Anthony Bender right here if he can get out of this inning.
Higgins' last major league appearance before today, October 5th of 2022 at Cincinnati when he was a member of the Chicago Cubs. Check swing. He went around and the side is retired. Bender works around the error here in the 6th after 5.5. It's 4-1 Marlins.
Which was all black, in case you might remember. This one's all red, and they also recreated that C logo for the first time, guys, in over 100 years. But I think it's safe to say Marlins have some of the most popular city connects. The Sugar Kings were the originals, and now the retro wave uniforms that are to be worn every Friday home game.
Yeah, and with all due respect, getting a look at those 8, the Marlins by far have the best one. Some of those were not very good, to be honest. Here's a 2-0 to Owen Casey, and a sinker's in there for a strike. Time now for our DirecTV new era. Big Red Owen Casey. Born in Burlington, Ontario, Canada. He's got a 2-run double today, 45th overall pick by the Padres in 2020. Marlins are loaded with former Padres farmhands. Who's he barking at? Or who's he talking to? Oh, probably P.J. Higgins going back to their Cubs days.
See, you put 2 and 2 together.
And Higgins has been in AAA the last couple of years with the Reds. So I'm sure they were crossing paths in Iowa and I just blanked. Indianapolis? No, that's the Pirates. Louisville. Cincinnati's Louisville. This is drilled to right field. And that's going to bang off the wall. Casey's on his way to second. He's got a hustle. Here comes the throw. It's not in time. Second extra base hit of the day for Owen Casey.
Boy, the thing you really got to love is the fact that his first double was into left center. This time he takes the changeup from Louder, stays back on it, and smokes it into right field down the line. So 2 doubles to completely different parts of the park and 2 solid swings.
So he's got his 3rd and 4th doubles of the season here today.
And I think it's interesting that Terry Francona has his right-hander out on the mound. He's a little over 90 pitches now, I believe. 112.
And here is Heriberto Hernandez, who bounces one to shortstop. Casey was off and running. Really good base running. We do have word on Griffin Conine. Noticeable discomfort. They're calling it left knee discomfort. That's what he left the game with.
You mentioned it, Kyle. Owen Casey gets a good secondary lead. Now the ball is sort of in front of him, maybe behind him, but if you can get that kind of jump, it doesn't matter. Even if it's a little in front of you, you can still make it to third. Sets up that inning, sets up that run.
That's a base hit for Javier Sanoja, who just drove in his 2nd run of the day, and it's 5-1. 3 more hits this afternoon for Javier Sanoja, who came in batting .357, and his batting average now is well over 400.
Talked earlier how he likes to jump on that first pitch fastball at times. He got one, and there it is. He lays in the weeds for that, and so many times you see him get that first pitch. If it's a fastball, a 2-seamer, 4-seamer, he'll send it on the line somewhere.
Well, Terry Francona gave Brett Louder a chance to work the 6th, but he can't get out of it.
Did I make it? You're gonna have to kill me if you want to take it. Race for impact. I'm running in. We gonna tear it down and then do it again. Picture me in pedigree. I'm the remedy. I'm everything that'll set you free. I paid the cost to be the boss.
5-1 Marlins lead. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning. Javier Sanoja just collected his 2nd RBI and 3rd hit of the day. The 6th time in his career that he's got 3 hits in a game. He's never had 4 in a game.
You know, the other thing that's amazing about Javi, some players are a little affected by maybe changing positions where they play. It might affect their offense. It doesn't matter for him.
I think he thrives.
Yeah, he started third, started center, started short, second base, left field.
He just doesn't catch and play first. But maybe we could work that in. Here is Brock Burke, a 29-year-old southpaw out of Chicago, Illinois, a Rays 3rd-round pick in 2014. Swing and a miss by Graham Pauley, who's 0 for 2 today, and now 4 for 23 this season.
Yeah, I saw Burke for just a 1/3 of an inning in the first game of this series. Came into the game, struck out Xavier Edwards.
He's had a really good major league career. This is his 220th career appearance, and over parts of 6 seasons, he has a 3.80 ERA. That's solid. Here's a 2-2 to Pauley, and he foul tips it into the mid of Higgins, and Graham strikes out for the 2nd time today. Burke was traded in a 3-team. He's actually been part of a 3-team deal twice in his career, most recently in January when he was traded by the Angels to the Reds in a deal that sent Gavin Lux to the Tampa Bay Rays. And I only bring up Gavin Lux's name because he fell victim to Major League Baseball shrinking his rear end. With the ABS system, they measured everybody.
Would he lose a couple of inches?
Oh. Now, the women are not thrilled. They usually like their men over 6 feet tall. He dropped down to well below 6 feet.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Where'd he end up this year?
He's in Tampa.
Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
Saw him a little bit with the Reds, Dodgers, came up with the Dodgers.
Snap throw to first, and Javi is back in safely. Jacob Marcy 0 for 3 after going 2 for 4 last night. Ground ball right back to Burke. Dropped the ball. Still gets the out. The first in the inning is over. So we'll go to the 7th. Marlins leading by 4. I mean, it cannot be reiterated enough the kind of issues this guy has. But I love him. And he's out there for the 7th inning for the Marlins. Facing T.J. Friedl in the top of the Reds batting order. Marlins leading by 4.
Well, and let's hope the Reds have issues with the sweeper and splitter and 2-seamers and 4-seamers.
4th appearance for Tyler, who rips off a good splitter. It's quickly 0-2 on Friedl, who's 0 for 3 out of the leadoff spot. And he has seen his batting average drop down to 174 here today with his current 0 for 3.
We've talked about it during this series. Guy who last year set career highs in all kinds of categories: hits, runs, on base, walks.
Ground ball right back to Phillips. He's got it, and he gets him at first with an underhand toss. 1 up and 1 down. So an 0 for 4 day for Friedl. Here comes McLean, who singled in the first, but that's all since. Chris Paddock will face the organization that traded for him last summer tomorrow. Marlins Tigers 6:30. Paddock went to Detroit, but he struggled so mightily they stuck him in the bullpen. He was not happy with the way that went. He really felt like the Tigers needed him. He wanted to perform, really help him, but it just didn't work.
Tell you what, he did a nice job in that game at Yankee Stadium the other day, considering all the elements, the delay, the fact that he was going to start, then he didn't start.
Totally agree. But he on 1 out here in the 7th. Phillips ready to kick and fire. A 1-1 to McLean. Foul off to the right. 1-2 with De La Cruz on deck. Well, the Reds are still having a hard time scoring. They're 0 for 7 today with runners in scoring position. And their team batting average was .209 coming into the game today. And suffice to say, it's not exactly going up. They've got 5 hits, but they have spoiled opportunity after opportunity. The average has only gone down to 1 point to 208. Bouncing ball up the middle, and Otto couldn't get a grip on it. That should just be a simple base hit for McLean of the infield variety with 1 out, I would think.
I agree, but even though Otto had a long way to go, he caught the ball, just had trouble in the transfer. I agree with you on probably the base hit, but it's a play that he can make and does most of the time.
Otto struggling a little bit at shortstop to start the season. You do have to wonder, Hutton, you brought it up, maybe is it in his head a little bit now that he's committed 4 errors?
It gets that way, and then, like I said, you get some balls hit to you that aren't routine.
You can kind of see him fluttering his lips out there and just thinking about these opportunities he's not capitalizing on. So the door open a little bit for the Reds and Ellie De La Cruz. Did he hold his swing? He did not. And it's 0-2. On Ellie, who's 1 for 3 today. He is in jeopardy of seeing his 8 consecutive games with a run scored streak coming to an end. 3 homers, 6 runs batted in. A little above a league average OPS as an 0-2 pitch is caught on and missed. That was a filthy curveball from Tyler Phillips for the 2nd out of the inning.
Yeah, he has a couple of pitches, the curveball and the splitter, that are just like dive bombers. You know, the splitter table falls off, and this one falls off right there. Then he has enough on his fastball, he can crowd a hitter with a good 4-seamer up in the zone.
So 2 away, and Sal Stewart bounces one up the middle. X goes the long way to first, and Phillips works around the 1-out single.
Today with 3 hits on the day. Now, I'm not great at math, but on the season, Javi is hitting .419. That's .419. If he qualified for the National League batting title, that would be the highest average in all of Major League Baseball. What a great start to the season for Javier Sanoja. Guys, hope it's a happy flight to Detroit. We'll see if they can close it out as the Marlins lead the Reds 5-1. Kyle, back to you.
All right, Craig, thank you very much, and we will see you and Rod shortly on the Marlins postgame show, which we also hope will be a happy one.
Yeah, I was just thinking it, and it's so funny. Javi hits the ball to all the places he plays.
Yep.
To all fields.
Yes, he does. Jose Franco is on to make his third Major League appearance after spending parts of 5 minor league seasons down on the farm. We saw Franco on Tuesday work an inning and 2/3, walked 2, struck out 2, did not allow a hit. 2 balls, 1 strike to count on Xavier Edwards, who's 1 for 2 today. He's got his batting average at .404. So both he and Javier Sanoja hitting over .400 on the season.
Yeah, I think X came into the game second in the major leagues with his batting average.
Indeed. So Meyer in line for a win. Lauder currently would be hung with a loss. The question now, with no activity in the bullpen, it looks like Phillips is going to go back out for a second inning of work.
That's the beauty of having guys like Phillips and Lake Bacher, guys who can give you more than one.
And there is ball 4. Edwards draws the leadoff walk. He's on base for the 3rd time today. I have to wonder, because he hasn't pitched since Sunday and it's a softer landing spot, does Pete Fairbanks get the 9th in a non-safe situation to get him some work?
Good point.
Say that one more time, a little bit louder for the people in the back.
Kyle, that was a good point. There's Pete.
There's Pete. And that is shot on the ground up the middle and a base hit for Augustine. 1st and 2nd with nobody out here in the 7th. Little insurance never hurt.
A little spinner, a little slider that backs up. The strength of Gus. With De La Cruz playing him over in the hole, he shoots it right up and gets himself a base hit.
So for Augustine, with that hit, he's now hitting 4 in a row and 7 of 8. He's turning things on at the plate as Liam Hicks grounds one back to the mound. Franco goes the second. It's an awful throw and everybody is safe. Now a throw back to 3rd, and they've got Edwards hung up. We'll have to get a look. Not sure if he was paying attention to Blake Lally or not, or what happened over there, but that's a base running blunder. And they should have him loaded with nobody out, but it's 1st and 2nd with 1 away.
Yeah, sometimes you make that turn. Let's watch how everything unfolds. The throws wide. The Reds pitchers have made poor throws. Alert play by McClain, the second baseman, to pick up X's turn. He looks there. He puts his head down because he sees it might be a double play, but then he didn't see the throw go wild. That's really one of those plays that's on the runner, not necessarily the third base coach.
Right.
Be interesting how they score that.
Well, I thought there should be an error on
I don't think they can give because they get an out.
But here's why I thought there's an error on the play. Because after Edwards hit 3rd, there was no longer a force out in effect anywhere, and it was essentially a separate play. So I thought the runner would reach on an E1, and then the put out would go 4 to 5. You following me there? Am I just totally
I am,
off base
and
there?
see if you can follow me on my theory on this. If they get the out at 2nd, okay,
Yep.
and just that,
Yep.
it's a fielder's choice, and there's runners at 1st and 3rd. They still got an out, but now they're only runners at 1st and 2nd.
Yeah, it's interesting. I thought just because the play was complete.
And that's exactly why you and I aren't scorekeepers.
Oh, God, no. The routine stuff is easy, but when you got to pull out the book and really put your thinking cap on, that's when it gets difficult. As Franco's now gone 3 balls and a strike on Otto Lopez. That's smacked foul. The count is full. And you know what? a second error has just been put on the board. So I think there is an error on the play, and it's got to be on Franco. Because the only other error was the fielder's choice E5 in the first. And they just took it off. There was one on the board.
Yeah, that's just
still
one.
on the box score. They're jostling back and forth.
They're debating it the way you and I are.
Clayton would just love another run. I'm not sure he really cares in what fashion they get it here. And there's ball 4. And the bases are loaded with 1 out. And Owen Casey will be the batter. He's 2 for 3 with a pair of doubles, 2 runs scored. He's also drove in 2 runs, and Derek Johnson's thinking, I am in a world of trouble. I've got to help Franco get out of this. The original scoring said Liam Hicks grounded into a force out. Franco to the shortstop, to the second baseman, to the third baseman.
Yeah, the box score on the MLB site has an error charged to Franco. And the Reds with 2 errors.
So an error on a force out, but it wasn't a force out because there was a tag play involved. Edwards had already rounded third. So
they're saying considering the force out at second base, I think they're thinking would have been a force out at second.
It's enough, and my brain's about to explode. The bases are loaded with 1 out in the 7th, and here's Casey.
See Big Red drive in a couple here. Get us off this stuff.
That's the fun stuff, though. I just can't figure it out. It's above my pay grade. Here's a 1-0 to Casey, and he swings and he lines it into center field. The base hit. It's his 3rd hit of the game. That'll score a run. Lally puts up a stop sign at third. It's 6-1 now, and the merry-go-round is in motion. He is another guy, Hut, that is going to work his way into an everyday starting role.
I totally agree. Boy, that's a good pitch, too. Pitch was down, off speed, right back up the middle. How about his base hits today? 2 doubles, left center, down the right field line, single up the middle, using the entire field.
Clayton has talked about this. He has been badgered day after day when lefties are starting. Why aren't some of your best players getting an opportunity? And he said those opportunities will come. And it's coming really quick for some of these guys like a Hicks and a Casey. You just can't afford to keep him out of the lineup at this point with some of the production, which is a great problem to have. Marlins have been awesome with runners in scoring position here today.
Right now, 6th in the major leagues. 297 with runners in scoring position. On the flip side of that, Cincinnati's last.
Here's an 0-1 to Heriberto, who swings and lines it towards short, and De La Cruz dives to his right and he makes the catch. What a spectacular grab.
Don't know if many shortstops make that play, but when you're 6'7", you can extend, react, and extend. And Hernandez is robbed. Wow. By the way, the top team in the major leagues with runners in scoring position, Kyle, the Detroit Tigers, hitting .320.
We'll see you tomorrow night. Like the great Jack Buck said, we'll see you tomorrow night. I'm feeling pretty good, by the way, about my early season take that the Dodgers will not relinquish sole possession of first place all season long in the West.
You mentioned to me about 4 or 5 days ago, wire to wire, you thought
I think
the Dodgers would go.
They do not let anybody catch them. I don't think anybody ties them. 0-2 to Javi. Ooh, weak swing and a miss. Franco got him. And the inning is over. Those sharp teal lids. The team store is covered in teal.
Picture that helmet on Gary Sheffield.
Oh.
The bat waggle.
I know. This is clocked to left. Coming in into a slide, Heriberto. And he makes the catch. 1 up and 1 down for Tyler Phillips.
There've been some tough balls hit out to left field today. We saw Griffin Conine make a couple of nice catches and then a terrific attempt. And here's Heriberto. Kind of circled it a little bit, but got there in time.
And unfortunately, for those of you just joining us, Griffin Conine started this ball game in left field today. He was replaced by Heriberto Hernandez after Griffin Conine left today's game with left knee discomfort. So we will await further word, but we are certainly hoping that that word will be encouraging in the coming days. Nathaniel Lowe just got a piece of that curveball from Phillips, and it's 0-2. Be curious to see what the Marlins do here the remainder of this game. Tyler Phillips conceivably could just cap off the final 3 and pick up a vulture save. Or if Pete Fairbanks, who's back from paternity, maybe gets 3 outs to get him back in the mix. Swing and a miss by Lowe. And there's 2 out. Throw to first in time. Well, speaking of the Conine family, don't miss the Legends Pin Series on Saturday, April 18th. A special ticket package includes a Legends level seat and a limited edition collector's pin featuring Jeff Conine. Get your tickets at marlins.com/offers.
Niner had such a short, compact, to-the-ball swing.
Here is Spencer Steer. That's hit foul. The Reds will go back home. They've been on the road for about a week. They swept the Rangers, won the first 2 here in Miami, but they're limping to the finish line. Meanwhile, the Marlins are heating back up, trying to split this 4-game series today.
That's a good bounce back.
Oh, yeah.
Really good bounce back. After the loss, the first game, getting shut out, and then the tough loss in game 2.
Reds will go home and host the Angels and the Giants with an off day mixed in.
See where Devers went deep for San Francisco last night.
Steer in the air to shallow center. Sanoha makes the catch. You know Phillips wants a vulture save. The homestand in series. Graham Pauley followed by Marcian Edwards here in the 8th. Marlins have never trailed in this game. They got 1 in the first, 3 in the 4th. They did give 1 back in the 5th, but have scored in each of their last 2 innings at the plate, 1 in the 6th and 1 in the 7th. Graham Pauley 0 for 3 today, now 4 for 24 on the season as a fastball misses inside from Franco, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. That's inside, ball 3, good eye. So with a win, the Marlins would improve to 8-5. With a loss, the Reds would fall to 8-5. And because of the fact that the Atlanta Braves are idle today at home in Atlanta, a win here by the Marlins would send them back into a tie for first place in the National League East with the Bravos. Which again, some people scoff at because they're playing their 13th game of the season, but I promise you, if you win today and you're 5 games back in the division after 2 weeks, it's a different tone. I like to see them atop the standings of the National League East.
Well, there'd be a lot of talk if the team was 2-11.
Right.
So there you go.
And they're ready to race out to an 8-5 start this season with a nice road trip waiting in the balance to Detroit and Atlanta. Face some real good competition. That's hit out to shallow right center field, and Dane Myers coming out. He can't make that catch. Boy, and his wrist just bent backwards when he dove for that ball. I hope he's all right. You could see that in real time. He dove. Everything kept going forward except his glove in hand.
Watch the glove hand. Oh.
Oh boy. That's enough. 1 replay's enough. Hey, we'll give you a second. Here we go.
You know, Graham Pauley has 5 hits on the year and 4 are doubles. That's just.
I'm out on that.
And,
okay.
and because we know, I mean, it would be the same for anybody, but because we know Dane, just hope that it's just a little twinge.
I hope, because the replay looked awfully ugly. He has given a valiant effort out there in center field today.
He said that's one thing about playing center field at Lone Depot. You've got to cover a lot of ground because there's a lot of territory out there.
Well, in a 6-1 game, Terry Francona might want to take him out, just get him looked at, make sure he's okay. Look at him grimacing when they're yanking on that hand. Jeepers.
I know, Kyle, when you get your manicure, they do that with your hand.
You know, I've never had one. Or a pedicure, for that matter. Have you? Have you gone to get your nose?
Manicure, not pedicure. I have had.
You've had a manicure?
Not in a while, yeah, but I have.
For what?
Just to.
Just
I think
get
somebody gave me a certificate. I think.
An interesting gift.
Maybe they give it to my wife. I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, the good news: Dane Meyer's still in there.
He's all right, which is very good to see.
And as I mentioned, 5 hits now on the year for Graham Pauley and 4 doubles.
He'll take it any way he can get it. Here comes Jacob Marcy, who I failed to mention this earlier in the game. He is serving as the designated hitter for the first time in his career. It's not all that often that your DH is hitting out of the leadoff spot. But the Marlins actually had their DH lead off 6 times last season. 5 of those 6 times, you know who it was at the top of the lineup? I don't think many people would get this name.
See, I was going to say Xavier, but not the way you presented that question.
Right, I'm trying to help.
Yeah.
I'll give you another sec. Go ahead.
I'm trying to go through the lineup here. Last year, right?
Yeah.
How about Otto? No?
No, it's Augustine Ramirez. I don't think anybody gets that. He hit DH out of the leadoff spot 5
I didn't
to 6
get it.
times. Well, you're just playing along. You knew. Marcy lays off a 1-1 fastball. It's 2-1 on Jacob. What a homecoming it'll be. I assume he'll be staying with the team. He's got hundreds of people going to the ballpark.
He had a lot of friends and family in Cleveland, didn't he,
did.
last year?
Yeah, because Kelly did that awesome interview with his mom and parents out in the bleachers.
Yeah.
And right, I think that was like his banner day to date as well. He hit the homer, maybe a couple home runs. Here's a 2-2. And now the count is full. Marlins hoping for a happy flight, well on their way. We are 2 hours and 25 minutes deep into this game here today. See, last night 251, 302, 215 on Monday. This is a far cry from that 3 hour and 49 minute affair last Saturday at Yankee Stadium. And there's ball 4. 5 walks by Cincinnati pitching today.
I know what Terry Francona's thinking. He wants Franco to get him through this game.
Yeah.
But he's given up 3 hits. He's walked 3. He's thrown a lot of pitches.
And I think Derek Johnson's probably sitting down there saying, look, we've got this many more before we might have to make a move here.
Right. It's one of those games. You and I were talking about it last night where a manager has to manage thinking about tomorrow.
Throw to third. It's not in time, and the Marlins pull off a double steal, up 5 here in the 8th. They are not going to settle for a big lead. They want more. And Xavier Edwards is thinking, thank you very much, gentlemen. That's a great slide. Little swim move by Paulie.
Little swim move on the back end. Jacob Marcy picks up the stolen base.
Very nice. So Marcy now with 6 stolen bases. Paulie with his first. And here is Edwards, and the infield is back in for the Reds. And X sends this in the air outside of third. That's into row 7, C2. How many more stolen bases today? Was that the first 2, or did I miss one somewhere?
That's the first 2.
So that's 18 now in the year, and they came in tied for second, or solo second in the National League with 16. So 18 stolen bases is second in all of baseball, trailing only the Brewers, who have swiped 23. Who I often say, people associate Peter Bendix with the Rays, and the Marlins are trying to do it that way. The Marlins are trying to replicate what the Brewers do. As a 1-1 is pop foul.
They continue to do it.
Yeah, it's year after year. It's sustained success. They do it with a lot of prospects with really good pitching. They steal a lot of bags. At a certain point, they trade some of their stars. They get an influx of talent. They develop it, and they keep winning. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. In fact, I find it to be quite enjoyable to watch. If I was a Brewers fan, you know you can punch your ticket to the playoffs every year. Swing and a miss on a 2-2 slider by Edwards for the first out of the inning.
I don't want to demean the National League Central, but it does make it a bit easier compared to challenging the Braves, the Mets, the Phillies, which have been so tough over the last few years. Cubs have had a few down years. Cubs look better, much better this year.
Yes.
Look at the way Cincinnati's been playing. St. Louis, a little bit of resurgence, but they've
a little bit.
They've gone backwards a little bit. They're rebuilding.
You know, by the way, speaking of the Brewers and the way that they do things, they have often over the years, you think of, you know, the Josh Haders and the Freddie Peraltas, some of their big name guys they've traded. They've also signed a lot of their guys to extensions. I think that's the recipe for success you're going to see here in Miami. I think there's a beautiful balance of all of that. Some candidates on this roster in the coming years in Miami should the Marlins want to pursue maybe some extensions, but you just never know how that stuff works out. There's also just so much team control that you don't need to be in a rush to do those deals. Ground ball up the middle and a base hit for Augustin Ramirez, his second hit of the day. The windmill is on at third. That'll plate 2 more, and it's 8-1. The infield drawn in. Ramirez bangs it right back up the box where it came from.
Tell you what, good to see Gus having a good day when he's behind the plate too as a catcher. We talk about how his offense seems to be a little better when he's DHing, but 2 good swings today, picks up a couple of runs. And still just 1 out.
Shot to short. De La Cruz has got it. They're going to double off the runner at first, and the inning is over, but it's 8-1 as we go to the 9th. What are you talking about? Tyler Phillips came on, worked a scoreless 7th, was efficient and scoreless in the 8th, and it doesn't matter the score if you finish the final 3 innings. It's a save. So Phillips, who has 4 career saves, is on the verge of a 5th.
See, I always I hear a lot of people. You've kind of insinuated it with the vulture save thing, but a lot of people will say, "Well, it's a cheap save." I always disagree because I think what he's done is save the bullpen. So he'll pick up a save. He's gone 3 innings. It's an 8-1 ball game, and you see it sometimes in games that are even more of a blowout. But it saves the bullpen.
Ground ball through the right side, a base hit for Dane Myers. He's 1 for 4 today. Who could ever forget Phillips' 4-inning save at Milwaukee last July on the 26th? A 4-inning save, you don't find many of those anymore. Leadoff base knock for Dane Myers. We're going to have a pinch hitter. It's going to be Will Benson. He was getting some early work in here today. Benson will hit for Higgins, leadoff man aboard. Marlins up 7. Benson in his career is a .273 pinch hitter. He's 12 for 44 with a homer and 6 runs batted in. A 7-run 9th inning lead. I think that's music to Clayton McCullough's ears. I bet the Reds leave here feel like they're licking their wounds a little bit. Actually, they're very fortunate to have won 2 games. I'll give them Monday. I don't want to count Tuesday, but they did win. But the Marlins easily could have won 3 of 4 here.
You know, it's like you bogey the first couple holes. When you par the last 2, you know, it's a good day.
Some of us par the last 2, and I'm looking at you.
And contrary to Cincinnati looking at this series, you win the first 2 games, you know, you're licking your chops.
And there's ball 4. So a single and a walk to Benson to start this night. You know, some of our friends at Home Hut might be wondering when I just mentioned Tyler Phillips had a 4-inning save last July, if that was the longest in franchise history. No, and as unusual as a 4-inning save is, 5-inning saves are even more unusual. Jansen Junk last season had a 5-inning save in his debut in Los Angeles against the Angels, his old team. Here is Friedel. He's 0 for 4. But we have a challenge coming. So Ramirez will not take this one to the airport with him. He thinks this is a strike, and he's right. He's been on the money all year.
Yeah, he missed one earlier in the game, but other than that, he's been nails most of the year.
That is his 10th overturn, which is now tied for first in baseball with Logan O'Hoppe and Ryan Jeffers. Good for you, Augustine. So the Marlins retain that challenge. And Friedel swings and misses. So from 1-0 to quickly 0-2.
And by the way, no activity in the Marlins bullpen. So the plan for Clayton McCullough is to have Tyler Phillips finish this ball game.
Quiet as a church mouse out there. You know the best part? When those guys, they're actually watching the TV screen, they always look away from the monitor when they see themselves on it. It's kind of humorous. Nice block by Gus Bus.
When you're a runner and you see the catcher block a ball and it just is, if you concede the ball, that means he's kept it in front of him. It moves away. You can't advance. That's the one thing you always look for.
Swing and a miss. And there's one away here in the 9th.
There's that really good curveball from Tyler Phillips. 12-6.
So here's Matt McClain. This is pretty efficient too. That was for Phillips his 33rd pitch of his outing. He's working in his 3rd inning. Trying to save this thing for Max Meyer. Ball game started a little after 12 o'clock today. Ground ball to 3rd, bobbled, throw to 1st. That's in time. So a nice recovery by Graham Pauley. Both runners advance. Now there's 2 out. He's going to kick himself too because he knows if he got that cleanly, he might have been able to end this game. But it's okay.
Because that was a double play ball. He's also fortunate when he went to pick it, he used the glove and was able to pick it up with the glove.
Balls have been whistling at him at 3rd the last couple of games. And here's Ellie De La Cruz. Be a nice fitting way for this game to end because De La Cruz has scored a run in 8 consecutive games. He's also homered in 6 consecutive regular season series going back to last year. He's 0 for 4 today and 2 for 14 here in Miami with a single and a double, and he swings and misses at a curveball, and it's 0-2. To 1, top 9, 2nd and 3rd, 2 out. Phillips a strike away, kicks and fires. Swing and a miss. The ball game is over. And after losing the first 2, the Marlins win the last 2. They're 8-5 on the season. This show will go on the road to Detroit, Michigan tomorrow night.
Yeah, I just think a great way to finish this series. The fact that they did lose. You and I have talked about it the first 2 games, but came back. Won the final 2. Max Meyer picks up his first win of the year. Solid 5 innings. How about a 3 innings out of Tyler Phillips? Offense was good. A lot of good positive things to take on that airplane to Detroit.
They have opened eyes. They will continue to open eyes. Post-game show with Craig and Rods coming up next. We're back on the air tomorrow from Detroit. Special thank you to our director Matt Gerson and our producer John Sulzer. Tommy Hunt, Kelly Sacco, and our entire fabulous